Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the My Football Writer YouTube channel. Once again, it's a dynamic duo for a video today. I'm joined by Will Grant, also known as Norwich Youth, on Twitter. And today, well, even a couple of hours ago, Norwich City's official fixture list was announced for the new 2024-25 Championship season. There's some corkers in there, some nice away days maybe, and even some controversial kickoff times to already talk about. And Sky have barely even got involved. But just to start off, Will, how are you doing, mate? Of course, we had the podcast at the weekend, and then we had England play last night. But I'm not going to bore everyone with well, we shouldn't bore everyone with talking about that, because that everyone knows how boring that was. But anyway, how have you been, mate? And looking at his fixture list, it's time to get excited, isn't it?
Yes, mate. I am very, very excited, and I think the EFL have done us with an absolute treat. First up, obviously, I'm sure we'll touch on it later, but Oxford away, God, that does get me going. Absolutely. I can't think of a better start, honestly. I think that's so exciting. However, it's kind of a bit sad how you kind of go from Oxford away, which is a very exciting start, to Blackburn at home, which is a bit more mediocre and boring. But of course, we've got to play everyone twice in 46 games, so it's got to be done. But yes, mate, I'm absolutely superb. And England, yeah, bit poor, obviously, with England at the minute, but I'm just so excited to hopefully get into the new season, but also see England actually perform better in the knockout stages.
Yeah, well, let's certainly hope so. I believe England have got to play either the Netherlands or Slovakia, but we don't need to worry about that because we've got 46 games, which, of course, we're not going to cover every single game because that would be a little bit mental. But we're going to cover periods and everything like that, as you'd expect, really. But as you already said, Oxford away, a newly promoted team, a new ground as well for probably quite a lot of fans, a ground which only has as many stands as I hope we get points there. the car park in the big opposite end of the goal. But I really look forward to that. It is a shame, though, that straight away Sky have been involved and it's a 12:30. I mean, that is crazy. And just before we started this, you spoke about a few other teams and their fixtures for a 12:30 kickoff on the first day. I mean,
scandalous, mate.
Ridiculous. There was some horrible one. I mean, Oxford, Norwich is far away from everywhere. Everyone knows it's in that bit of the country that they sort of left sticking out. But Oxford, I am excited for it. I did see as well, they sold Josh Murphy to Portsmouth yesterday.
That's a big blow, isn't it? That's huge.
Massive.
Blow. Yeah.
Big blow for them. But I do really still look forward to it. I think that is, as you said, it's a corker of a game. I do really look forward to that. But it's 12:30 opening day. That's harsh.
Yes, it is, mate. I think for the avid kind of train people, it'd be a 7 a.m. start on the train, or even earlier if people want to go the night before. But yeah, it's a great start for me. I think that was the kind of game where I was kind of looking at to see where we're going to play Oxford away. Just a great kind of story from them, really. I think first I'm back in the Championship for 25 years. So so precious for them. Obviously Portsmouth as well. Of course, that's a midweek game, which is bit annoying because that'll be a new ground for me as well. But yeah, I think Oxford is also from a competitive standpoint, I think it's quite an interesting one as well, because I think Norwich will kind of go into that game probably with some pressure on them. Obviously, playoffs last season against a newly promoted team, so it's going to be interesting how Norwich kind of deal with the dynamic of playing a newly promoted team first up, because obviously Hoffer will want to try and start strong. I think we'll soon see over the course of time actually how long it takes for him to kind of embed his kind of style of play, because it could take months, it could take weeks. So yeah, I think that's going to be I think Oxford will come out that game with less energy, passion, and want to try and enforce themselves on us. And I'd be very interested to see how Norwich can deal with their press and how they kind of break through their press in certain situations as well. So, yeah, I think Oxford actually presents a very, very kind of difficult challenge. Obviously, quality-wise, I think Norwich do have superior quality. But you never know, the Championship isn't relentless. It's an honest league as well. So you're going to have to be at it no matter who you play.
Yeah, of course. No, and there is some, well, even in the first 5 games, there are some difficult ones, you could say. I know that you touched on Blackburn being the first home game. I think that is fine. I think that is a game of which, well, you alluded to it there. Oxford on the first day is going to be a very interesting game from that standpoint. As you said, you've got a newly promoted team who want to start off well and cause an upset against one of the bigger teams in the division, prove that they belong. Of course, Hoff Thorup is, I would like to think straight away, he'll be thinking, right, you couldn't really ask from on paper an easier game to have. They've just sold arguably their star player. And of course, we don't know how that's all going to change. There's still a few months to go until the season actually begins. But it does look interesting from that point of how do you approach that. I would like to think Oxford are just going to go for it, but I don't know how they play. I haven't watched Oxford at all, probably in the whole time I've been alive. So I have no idea how they're going to do. But yeah, the first time game being Blackburn, as long as it goes better than the one in November, I'm more than happy with that.
Gosh, yes, yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine they'll have a few players. Of course, they've already lost Adam Wharton, who's gone on to be excellent. Sammy Schmodix, I would like to think, is going to leave them, but but who knows what's going to happen? We can only look at it for face value right now. I'm more than happy with that. But then the two after are difficult. You've got Sheffield United at home, which your first three games to play a relegated side, albeit sort of thinking about Sheffield United's team, there isn't anyone really who screams out to me anymore since they sold Njai and Berg last season. There's no one really in the team that's screaming in my face, apart from maybe Anel Ahmedhodzic. There's no one I can think of that I think you're going to cause issues for Norwich. Like, it's weird. I mean, I say this now, but who knows how that will go. But then even after that, an away trip to Coventry, who have, over the last two seasons, proved they can be up there and give you a challenge. So you've got two, arguably, on face value, quite nice opening games. And then it's always like the Championship. You go in, you come out of, I'm trying to remember the saying now. I'm just going to move on and forget it, but not waste anyone's time. But you're straight into two very hard fixtures there, and Coventry away as well. We had a corker there technically 2 seasons ago, and last season it could have gone better, but it's tough games to follow after a nice opening period. So you think really Norwich have got to maximise 6 out of 6 there to sort of still be in and around it at the start, but of course that doesn't exactly matter. Norwich usually start seasons poorly. I think when we won the league under Farker the first time, we were 18th after 5 games. So really, it's not the be all and end all if you start too poorly, but of course you'd rather have points on the board.
No, completely. I think you're very right there, Freddie. I think Sheffield United are a very hard team to kind of judge at the minute. I think there's so much uncertainty regarding them financially. Like, I don't know the extent of like their rebuild this year. They might kind of stick with like similar personnel in terms of like their players from the last 2 seasons. And I think if I'm a Sheffield United fan, I would want to see some new faces actually integrated into the team. So I think that's a very, very kind of hard one to judge. Obviously, they will have quality. They're a team which is going to come down with a Premier League obviously budget. So they're going to be a very, very hard team to kind of play, but I think we'll give them a really good test. But I think for me, the Coventry game is going to be very, very hard for us. I know we've got a really good record against Coventry, actually. I don't think we've lost to them in quite a while, actually, as well. So we've got a good record against them, but I'm very impressed with Mark Robbins. I'm a huge fan, and I think how they kind of dipped towards the back end of last year was probably because of their FA Cup campaign. So I don't think you can kind of add too much kind of importance to that, because I think they are a very, very good side with players that are more than capable to kind of finish in the top 6 as well, especially the front two of Ellis Sims and Haji Wright. 2 very, very good forwards. But yeah, back to the Sheffield United game. I honestly, I couldn't tell you right now how that could go or where they're going to finish, because like they made no signs, I don't think, as of yet. I know they're obviously interested in Sam McCallum, obviously, but I think they're such a hard team to kind of like judge this year on kind of like where they're going to finish, and especially after quite a poor campaign as well. I think you wonder if it's going to be some sort of hangover, and but I think for me also with Sheffield United as well is how Chris Wilder is actually going to kind of like approach stuff this year as well, because obviously I think his kind of reputation as kind of I think as decreased, I think, since the last few years. Obviously, a poor job at Watford he'd done as well. Obviously, last year as well. Obviously, they obviously got relegated as well. So I think this year's going to be big for him as well. And I think obviously he wants to kind of be motivated to kind of do a good job as well. So I can't call that game, but yeah, I think it's a very, very tough start in that regard. And And I think, but I don't think if things go too badly, I don't think there'll be too much fan unsettlement. I think it's just how we kind of go approach those games in particular, really. And I think we'll soon kind of see in a month's time of where we're at in pre-season, who's kind of impressing there to kind of think where we're going to finish this year. Because obviously, I said in the podcast, I've absolutely no clue how it's going to go this year. I'm still really unsure, but I'm so excited. But yeah, Coventry is going to be a big test, and I actually think Coventry are probably going to finish in the top 6 places as well. So immediately, you kind of got quite a hard game there. But yeah, I'm excited. How much points do I think we can get in the opening 4 games? Look, it's going to be very tough. Maybe I'd expect individual potentially 6, maybe a win at Oxford and a win at Blackburn. But yeah, I still can't kind of decide where I'm kind of thinking on those kind of games. But look, it's so long to the actual game start. So I'm just looking forward to this period now, and hopefully we can just keep on building momentum into the pre-season games.
Yeah, of course. And you would hope that during those pre-season games that Thorpe's play style can be worked on, it can be improved on. Norwich City the players even, I should say, can work on that, and they can integrate within the style. We can see who works in it, maybe who isn't going to work in it, and maybe that could affect incomings and outgoings. Of course, we've only signed one player in Jose Cordoba. There's been outgoings already. Ben Gibson, of course, off to Stoke on a free transfer. Dimi Yanulis, Sam McCallum, all the released players. There's been not a proper sale just yet, but of course Ben Napper has alluded to that, and instantly, news coming out again today in terms of player outgoings. Trabzonspor have come in again for Marcelino Nunez. It is an improved bid. It's up to €4.5 million. And even, of course, Norwich fans may think that is quite low, but the Trabzonspor club president, who has confirmed these talks are ongoing between themselves and Norwich City, they were saying that they believe the cost is too high right now for them, €4.5 million, which I personally disagree with, but that could just be my bias coming out. But what interested me really, I read the Pinken's article just before we started this, and what they were saying, the club president reckons that this price for Nunez, they'll want to sign him if the price goes down, but they reckon that is something that could actually happen. In fact, in his words, he says we expect the cost to drop, which for me is really, I can't see as to why we'd want to do that, especially when the club we signed him from in Chile, Universidad Católica, they have a 25% sell-on clause.
Do they really? Wow.
Yeah, it's
wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry. Yeah, look, I think Norwich need to sell a player definitely this window, and I think we all kind of expected it to be Rose, Sergeant Sarah, etc. But to see it could be Nunez actually really upsets me, I think, because I think he is the one player where I think he's going to be so important to us next season. I think with the way Fight wants to play technically, I think he's a huge asset for how we actually go about doing so. So I'd be absolutely fuming if Nunez goes. And to be honest, it might be controversial, but I think a team I would actually put probably around about a 12 to 15 million pounds for me to actually think about selling him, because he's so important to the way we play. And look, obviously, I must say also, I don't think he's worth it at the minute, but in terms of how important he's going to be for us, I think that is a more than fair price. But look, mate, Norwich just sold at the end of the day. So who knows if we're going to have to sell him? But yeah, that is so unideal. I think 4.5 million is a bit taking the mick a little bit, but hopefully we can hold out for more, because yeah, it'd be a huge blow to lose him so close to the new season.
Yeah, especially, and it's that 25% sell-on clause, instantly we're not even keeping all of the money.
Yeah.
No, it'd be very poor. It'd be typical Norwich really to sell him for that sort of price. But no, we can't afford to let that sort of cost drop, because that is, as you say, that is sort of taking the mickey. But yeah, who knows what's going to happen? I mean,
are you kind of worried though about the interest in Sarah Rowe and Sargent has literally been nothing, has there? So for me, I'm getting a bit worried actually. Look, I know it's still so early, but I feel for us to actually make some business and actually bring in some new signers, I think we got to sell still quite early, just try and bed them in. And you see, when this isn't happening, and say for example, we're still in this situation in a month's time, I think the word transition season just comes into more fruition because it just feels like it's like everything is like getting delayed at the minute. I thought there'd be some more interest now, but I think what you can actually see is the Premier League clubs especially, like they feel so anxious about financial fair play at the minute, and I think that is really kind of like worrying them about how much they can spend, really. So yeah, I'm quite worried actually about the lack of noise at the minute, but obviously that might accelerate in the coming weeks.
Yeah, no, it could all well do. It is. It's sort of the double-edged sword, really. Of course, it's worrying to not see that in terms of what you've just said there. You want the most money you can get in order to reinvest that. But then, of course, there's the thing of, well, brilliant that there's no interest. That means we'll keep them, and then we'll crack on, because obviously we all know how good they are and how good they can be. So, of course, it's a two-sided coin, of course, where you're sort of, if we get a lot of money, people are going to be happy. Of course, there'll be the natural disappointment of we're letting go of a very good player, of course. But that is the business model of this football club. That is what Ben Napper has said is inevitable. It is going to happen. When it happens is a different story. But this is to be expected, really. And it is a shame that this is the model we run. And especially with how it doesn't work in modern football, but ultimately that is our business model, and we will follow it. As long as it's there, it's going to be followed until we have an owner with more money. But
I think I think for me also is I actually think we need to probably sell 3 players, because I think one, you need to actually like balance the books. Two, you actually need to get players like into the first team to kind of like spend money for them as well. But 3, like the academy squad is literally, it's so like lack of depth at the minute. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, I think there's about, I mean, for me, I think we need about 8 to 10 signings at even like academy level right now. So like even that is quite worrying in itself, really. Obviously, I don't expect that much to kind of happen, because I think Norwich will probably like look to kind of integrate more kind of under-18 players into the 21 squad. But yeah, I think we could potentially like need probably between 2 or 3 sales, because obviously, look, our financial situation isn't very good at the minute. I mean, let's be real. So especially with the parachute payments all going now as well. So I'm quite worried from that perspective, really.
Yeah, no, it is worrying. It definitely is. That, as you said there as well, that's something which some people may have even not thought about. The parachute payments not going instantly, that's a lot of money that you're not getting. Albeit, even when we do get it, we don't spend all of it. But
yeah, I know,
yeah, no, but it's, of course, it's more to just keep the club afloat. We don't want to be in too much debt, or you can try and make a profit maybe in a year. Of course, after the COVID season, that has been very difficult for a lot of football clubs, but that's just how it is. But anyway, back to those fixtures. Really, I was just looking. Well, we were both looking beforehand and talking about what we think maybe is Norwich's hardest period, and it's really the only month that, well, I think anyway, people may disagree with me, they may agree with me, but I think the hardest month we've got on paper is January. Like instantly, New Year's Day, you have Luton away, followed by Coventry at home. Then you have Sheffield United away, Leeds away, and then you have Swansea as the last game of January at home. Those games before Swansea are so difficult on paper. 2 relegated teams, the team that got in the playoff final and played us off the pitch at Ellen Road. Then even Coventry, who we've already discussed, what you believe they'll be up there, I think that too. And then, of course, Swansea, just sort of standard, really, but they could have a good year. No one knows what's going to happen. Of course, they've got a very promising manager and some decent players in their squad. But that really, on paper, that could be, especially with it being a New Year period where you're playing a lot of games anyway in December and January. If we're up there, that really could be make or break. And albeit there'll be months after to put it right or improve on how well we do. Of course, that's such a long way away, but they are very difficult games at a really difficult time of the season. That's going to be very interesting to see how we fare and where that leaves us in the table sort of come then and even before that. But what do you think? Because I think that is a really harsh run of fixtures at a big time of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's worrying as well. But I think one thing to kind of say about that, though, is I feel, obviously, we saw actually firsthand under Wagner last year. Like we had a very hard run of fixtures, I think, towards October to start the season. I think we had what in 1 week we had Leeds at home, Borough at home, and we had Sunderland away, and that like in the space of 7 days. But the thing is, although that wasn't like very tough, we managed to catch it really well. So I'm actually glad that like those games aren't towards like the back end of the season, because I feel like that could be more like more of a bigger issue for Norwich. But yeah, they are very hard games. I think Leeds are probably going to be my favourites to win the league again. I know obviously they're going to be worried about their financial problems as well. But I think with Leeds I don't think many teams will actually come in for their players, because I feel that obviously the pressures of the Premier League clubs to buy within reason as well is going to be a huge factor as well. So I think Leeds and obviously Coventry as well. I mean, yeah, they're two tough games. I think did you mention also Swansea there as well? I think even I think we saw under Luke Williams as well. They're playing in a really good way as well at a minute as well. So they're going to be no pushovers as well. So that is a hugely tough month for Norwich. But look, I think for us this year, I don't think there's any pressure for us to be looking at different kind of rivals. I think for all of us, I think we're all expecting to kind of just see a coherent style of play. And I think we want to see in those games, us wanted to attack all those teams and not sitting back in 2 blocks of 4, you know? I think that is the biggest thing we want to kind of see in that regard. So yes, I think as long as the approach is right and we do pick up some points here and there, I would be okay with that. Look, I know I'm quite a negative Norwich fan, and I don't kind of see us going up this year or anything like that. But I just want to see some kind of coherent style of play being implemented, and if so, against those tough teams, then the more the merrier. Because I think if you're showing that positive style of play against the really good teams in the league, then I feel like you're going places.
Yeah, no, of course, no, definitely, that's very much the case. If you can perform against those teams that you would like to think Norwich City will be in and around, given how well we can do. Of course, that is completely dependent on how quickly players adapt to the new system, how well it works, whether we can change that up in games against teams in order to try and figure that out if we're struggling. That's, of course, so many different factors that can come into play or maybe won't come into play. There's some big things that, of course, we need to really sort of think about to just sort of be level-headed about it. But you can't help but not think, oh, we'll be up there again because we got all these big teams, let's take them on, new manager who plays better football, we should be fine. But you just got to think as well, it may not work. So let's all calm down a little bit. But that's very much easier said than done, because the excitement just continues to build. It is a very exciting time to be a Norwich fan right now, despite what happened at the back end of the season. But just one last thing with the fixtures, looking at the run-in, it's not too bad. There is some sort of hard fixtures in there. Plymouth away at the start of April, we know how hard that can be. I don't
yeah, good point.
yeah, I don't even need to say anything more about that. Sunderland at home after that, Burnley away after, Portsmouth at home, who could be fighting for their lives, or they could be all right by then. Millwall away, everyone knows how tough that can be. Middlesbrough at home after that, and then on the final day at home to Cardiff, which seems like a nice end. But those games in April, they're Plymouth, Sunderland, Burnley, Portsmouth, Millwall, Middlesbrough. They're not easy, but I wouldn't go as to say they're make or break at the end of the season. But you never know where all those teams are going to be. Their fates could already be decided, or they could be fighting for playoff, promotion, relegation. You just never know what's going to happen. But apart from maybe Burnley, Middlesbrough, and even potentially Plymouth away from home, it doesn't seem too harsh. It seems as if we're in a good place, we should be finishing strongly, but you never know.
Yeah, I mean, on my whiteboard actually, I've kind of ranked it a 5 out of 10, I think, in terms of difficulty. So obviously, as you mentioned, I think Burnley, Borough, and Millwall away, very, very tough games. But also, as well as that, also we've got to play West Brom and Sunderland at home as well. So they are 2 very good sides as well. But I think, of course, as well, I think they have some quite nice home games in and around the April period as well. I can't kind of tell you in front of me right now who they actually are, because but I do remember seeing that we do have some nice kind of fixtures in and around then. But yeah, I mean, as you say, the end of the season is absolutely bonkers. We might see a few shot results. Also, Norwich losing at home, I don't know, to an Oxford at home, for example. Who knows? So it could be all so different, especially when there's more kind of pressure on games as well. So yeah, I mean, I don't think it's too difficult. And actually, for me, when I kind of look at the fixtures, obviously everyone looks like the first team we're going to play in a new season. Of course we do, but I think one of the biggest things I actually look at also is is actually the running as well, because that is so important. I think in terms of difficulty wise, you don't want to play like the tough teams towards the back end of the season, because obviously the chances of you finishing the season strong are quite remote. So yeah, I'm very excited for all the fixtures really. I think there's going to be some tough ones in there. I think West Brom are going to be a very, very good side as well under Corberan this year as well. I just don't know how much kind of resource that's going to get like pumped into them with like new owners. So we'll see there. But yeah, very excited. I don't think it's going to be like make or break, because I think we're going to finish towards like the mid-table area this season. But yeah, as long as we're seeing a coherent style of play, then I'm more than happy to kind of see how the season goes, and obviously finish within a good kind of finishing position, of course.
So there you have it. Of course, the fixtures are out. The excitement continues to build. Norwich City are just a few weeks away from starting what could be a very good season, or it could be a very poor one. Thank you all for watching here on the My Football Writer YouTube channel. Do let us know your thoughts on what you think about the fixtures, where you think Norwich could maybe slip up, maybe where they can pick up loads of points and just fire up the table. You can even let us know on the My Football Writer website. An article does go out for the video with the link as well. So let us know even in that comments section. We'll leave a link to all the website, all the social media channels as well. I've been Freddie Wakefield. He has been Will Grant, and we will see you for the next video here on the channel. And let's all continue to get excited, because we are just a few weeks away from all being back at Carrow Road.